right, so we're going to be going over just a super broad overview of conversion tracking with Google Ads, and we're going to be doing it in Google Tag Manager. It's the most easy and efficient way. There's some other ways you can do it. You can do it by script or by just sending it over to a developer and they can handle it, but we're going to be doing it in Google Tag Manager. It's the best way to do it. So we're going to start here in Google Tag Manager. As you can see, there is a tag already made. This is our conversion linker tag, and this is a Google Ads specific tag that's necessary for conversion tracking. So this basically tracks click data from one of your ads and then tracks what happens on the site. So it links the conversions to Google Ads from your site. So that is mandatory if you want to do any type of conversion tracking in Google Tag Manager. After you have that made, we're going to go over to Google Ads here, and you're going to want to go into the conversion action place in the back end of Google Ads. They've been messing with their layout, so it could be in a couple different places. Right now it's under goals and conversions and summary, but you may be able to find it under measurement. Just depends on what your dashboard looks like. But in any case, we are going to create a new conversion action website, and then type in your website domain and scan. It's going to make sure that that's a normal website and it has access to it. We are going to click add a conversion manually, conversion action. And then from here, we're going to select our category of conversion action. Let's just test add to cart for this scenario, for this example here. Usually I like to set this to secondary action while we're testing and making sure that data is flowing correctly. And then once we know that it is, we can switch it over to primary action. So I'm just going to put it to secondary action and then give it a name. Cart, GTM. And then for value, you're going to want to click this middle one, use different values for each conversion. A super quick summary, for every action that happens on your website for e-commerce, the value of that action may be different depending on the item that they choose, right? So if you purchase a $30 item, the value of that purchase event is going to be 30. If you purchase 2 items with a sum of 70, then the value of that one purchase is going to be 70. So we're going to leave this blank, but make sure you choose the use different values for each conversion, and then we're going to overwrite this value through GTM. And then I keep a lot of this the same. The count, the attribution stuff, unless I'm told differently by a client, then I just keep it the same. You can click done here, and then save and continue. And then from here, if you click the Use Google Tag Manager tab, you'll get some data about the conversion action you made. And this is data we're going to plug into GTM so we can link up the conversion tracking. So hop into GTM, click New, and then select Google Ads and Google Ads Conversion Tracking. We're going to plug in that conversion ID and the label. And then for conversion value, this is where we overwrite the value, and I'll show you how to do that. The way you do conversion value and the way you do currency code is the exact same process. Transaction ID, we don't really mess with unless it is given to us in the data layer, which I'm going to show you right now. So I'm going to duplicate this tab so I can preview the website, and we can look at the data that's flowing through. Preview here. Let me go to my test product. And you can see here I have a test product set up. I'm going to add to cart since that's what we're testing. And I'm going to look at the data that has flown through the data layer here for add to cart. You should see it on your left hand side here. And then you're going to want to click this and you're going to see the data layer and all the data that's sent for that given action. So you can see if we go back to Google Tag Manager that Google Ads is requesting the conversion value as well as the currency code. So that can be found right here and right here. One thing to notice is that there's a little hierarchy going on. So you can see it's nested under this e-commerce object, which is important when we go to target these in GTM to pull their values from the data layer. So I'll show you that right now. What you want to do to track these, conversion value, we'll click that little button on the side for variable. We're going to click this plus button, click into the variable, and then make sure you select data layer variable because that's where we're pulling this data from. To reference this hierarchy here, because it's nested in an e-commerce object, there's a little hierarchy going on. So the way we target it is to do e-commerce, or the top of the hierarchy, and then value, which is our target parameter. And that's all. So I'll name this data layer variable value, and this will pull out that 100 from the data layer. I'm going to save that, and then we're going to do the exact same for currency code. E-commerce dot currency data layer variable currency. Save. Then down here, one last thing you want to check is this provide product level sales data, and then change this to data layer. It's going to pull all the information from the data layer and send it over with the data above as well. So what that would look like is basically this items array. It's going to send all of this data over there with the value and the currency as well. So click that, click data layer, and then for the trigger, because we only want to trigger on add to cart events, we're going to click this custom event, and we're going to add to cart. And this basically ensures that anytime this specific event pops up in the data layer on the side here like this, then it will trigger. Name it, add to cart, trigger, save it, and we're going to name the entire tag g-ads add to cart, save, and now it's time to test everything. So we're going to preview. I'm just going to put in the right URL this time. Connect. Okay, we're going to let it load. Then we're going to click add to cart. And we can see it populated right here. And we can see that the Google Ads tag fired. We can also see, if you click this from names to values, that the conversion value that we targeted carried over correctly. It grabbed the 100, and also the currency code as USD carried over and sent over to Google Ads. So it's working perfectly, and if you want to do this with other events like purchase or view item, you can. And it doesn't just have to be e-commerce. It can be anything, really, any action you want to track that you consider a conversion, whether it's lead gen, whether it's some sort of form submission or a phone call click. All of those can be tracked and sent over to Google Ads. It just won't have that e-commerce data with it. So that was a broad overview of conversion tracking with Google Ads. If there's any questions or concerns, just leave them down below.